starting a grain dryer here in Michigan today. They got a row of seed bins here. Over here, we got the 2414 Sukup mix flow. Got a support tower with the stairs running up around it. Double overhead loadout bins. Some CMC drying bins in the back there. Nice wet bin right there. Like 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 ring by like 24 foot with drag conveyor unload. Used to dry all his corn in them 2 CMC bins. But like with all air drying, you end up with 11 to 12% corn on the bottom and 17% corn on top. So you over dry half and under dry half and spend a lot in electric. Nice Sukup storage bin there in the back. Let's walk around and check that out. Has a little 4-post support tower in there. Little 4x4 support tower with a catwalk up top with the tails of the double runs going from the support tower up to the peak of the 2 big storage bins. Got a GSI over there. Back there you got a GSI and then the Sukup here. Started this mix flow, this Sukup 2414 today. Had to, just to go over a couple of things we had to do, like adjustments and issues that we had to fix on startup. Like a lot of people get frustrated when they start a new dryer because not everything goes smoothly. Up there at the top, the fill switch, we had to adjust that. Had to turn it on the shaft some so it tripped at the right time. The vapor coils on all 3 burners, we had to adjust so it didn't trip vapor over temps. There was a leaking gas line there I had to tighten. And I moved my sensors. I put my sensors in the exhaust ducts. They work better that way. And then we filled it up with corn and preheated it, did the regular assisted start, preheated it. Then after it was hot, we shut it down and went inside, swept the plenums out. That way the plenums are clean, because on first fill you'll get some grain bounces into the plenums. Then you sweep them out, that way they're clean, they stay clean the whole way through harvest. Fired it up, ended up closing the louvers halfway to get a decent temperature on our discharge. We were dumping about 90, 95 degrees with the louvers open the whole way. And we wanted A little cooler than that because it's 65 degrees out. So close them louvers to halfway. The installer, Esch Steelworx, they put the electric panel, which is from factory, mounted up on the front of the dryer, right up here. But because of the tall legs, you can't reach it, so they dropped it down, put it on a pedestal. That way you can walk up and access the electric panel comfortably from the ground. Right there, they got their dump pit, their elevators, 2 elevators, inside a support tower with the stairway that runs around the outside of the support tower. Very nice setup. Their overhead loadouts here can also be doubled as wet bins. If you look there, they double as wet bins. Just swap the valve. That way at the end of harvest, they can fill that 11-ring 24-foot bin there. They can fill that with dry corn at the end of harvest. And they're running an overflow valve up top to fill the dryer. They're running an overflow valve. That way when they unload trucks, it fills the dryer and then floods over into the wet bins. So we fired this dryer today. We started it in assisted start, and we ran it, left it do its initial dry warm-up. Then we shut it down, went and cleaned our plenums because it was the first fill. Then we put it in manual, ran it at a 36% unload speed for 2 hours, and then put it in auto. We're now running in auto. We have a 115 column temp set point. Our actual column temperature is 110 right now, and that's swinging from 110 to 120. Our set point's at 115. That's swinging up and down like it should. Every half hour about, it's crossing the set point. Half hour, 45 minutes. Our discharge moisture is running that between 15.5 and 16. Basically right where we want it to run. Let's go in and look at some settings. So in here, we have the load settings. I have the fill switch delay timers. I have the off delay for a high amount. That way it waits to start the load, because I would put the load timer longer, but then when you go to start it on first starting the dryer, then it waits till that load delay is up before it starts filling. So I like to do my delays on the either on the auxiliaries. Like I always make the auxiliaries a minimum of a 7-second delay. Nothing wrong with 10 seconds. And then auxiliary 2, 10 seconds. Fill timer, this here, turn that off, because we turn off the fill timer because we are, no, on here we can let that on. We're flood filling with an overflow valve, but we are running a level auger on top of the dryer, so it's still going to call for grain, so we can let that on. The auto wet grain timer set for 10 minutes. We go to our fan heat settings. Our fan start delay is on 20 seconds. So it takes 20 seconds between fans when doing a startup. You can just turn all the switches on and it waits 20 seconds between fans. Our fan shutdown delay is at 3 minutes. That's my minimum cool down that I recommend. We'll put it to 5. There's no downside to having 5 minutes. We go in here, we look at our other settings, plenum out of range, enable that, set that to 15 minutes, 15 degrees, in case you have a plenum that with low propane tank pressure or something on a cold night. That way, if the plenum is out of range, it shuts down. Everything else in here we let go except for the flame out timer. I always switch that to 90 seconds. That's easier for troubleshooting over the phone in the future. Go to our unload settings, and this is all stuff that's default is good, other than in the loop control. I go in here and I lower the lag rate. So all of these are default except for lag rate. I lower that some to make the unload speed more responsive, so it makes decisions faster. Grain settings, everything in here, default settings is good, except the sample time. I always set the sample time to 2 minutes. The actuator runs half as often per day. That way it puts less wear on it. And if it gets cold out, I've had better luck with more accurate temperature readings with the 2-minute sample time. Everything else in here is good. If you were using the U-wire safety on the dryer, you would configure that here. It says user fault U. You can change that, and you can put in dry bin full or whatever you want on that, and configure that to say whatever you have it hooked to, dry bin full or dry elevator failure, or whatever you want. But we're not using that here, so we're just going to let that on default. Back out. That's our settings. Now, we've been running in auto for, I don't know, a couple hours now. If we go in here to graphs, if you want to see actually what's going on, we need to go to the graphs menu, look at our moisture. We had been running a little on the low side from just getting it stabilized. I started it a little bit on the low side, so because I'd rather be a little too dry than a little too wet. Then it brought it up, it went a little bit above, and now it's starting to come down a little bit again. It's kind of hard to see those graphs in the video. We go to column temperature, we're set at the 115, that's the red dotted line, and the green line is the actual temperature. And that there, some people when they look at that, they get concerned of all the moving. The way I have these sensors installed, I like to see that moving. That's nothing that's a problem. We look at the unload speed, and the unload speed is making decisions to keep that column temp where it needs to be, keep the, so we get a stable moisture. And I'm gonna hang around here a little while longer. We got a fairly stable moisture. We got a fairly stable column temp, as good as what I want. So everything's looking pretty good, but I'm just gonna hang around a couple hours and make sure that everything keeps doing what it's supposed to. We're running a 210, 190, 170. That's gonna dry corn at a decent speed, but also make high quality corn. So if you look here, these are my delay timers for the level switches.